Hello, welcome Facebook land. I am really excited to be on live today. It's been, gosh, I think I've only done one Facebook Live this whole year so far, and I'm used to doing them weekly, if not more than weekly. So it's great to be back. Hey, Mandy, great to see you. If you are coming on live, please say hi. If you're watching the replay, also say hi. I love it knowing that you guys are here and love to engage with you. So, we are 2 weeks into January. It's been a very crazy, amazing beginning for me. I was in Dallas last week getting to work with my business mentor and then actually had the honor of teaching a class for her membership where there are thousands of people in it. And I did a class on how to stop binge eating. So that was a huge honor. To be able to go on and share my skills and also my experience to help others. So, I'm going to get into what we're going to talk about today, which is going to be how to stick to your commitment. Now, we are 2 weeks into the beginning of the year, and I know a lot of people, when it comes to making commitments to their New Year's resolutions or to their goals, in this particular video, I'm just going to talk about stop binge eating. However, if you have another goal you want to put into that, you can apply all of the techniques and all of the tips that I'm telling you. But I am just going to talk about binge eating right now. So, one of two things is happening. If you told yourself beginning of the year, that's it, this is the year, I'm stopping binge eating, either you're doing really well and you're exactly where you thought you would be, you're not binging, you're not white knuckling it or using willpower, things are feeling good. Or the second option that you are is that you did good for the first couple days, maybe feeling like you're white knuckling it. It's very, at this part, it's getting really hard. Maybe you've fallen off the wagon. Maybe you've gone back into old patterns. And those are the people that I want to talk to, because the truth is that just because you're like, yep, I commit to doing this, your brain and the way that our beliefs are is still going to be hardwired for the habit. Now, binge eating is a habit, and it's really important to know that, because when our brain is delegated a habit, it's what we do automatically. So, in order to stop that, we have to use a couple of different skills, which I will talk about in a moment. But the question I want to ask you right now is, are you interested or are you committed to stop binge eating or to your goal? Now, let me tell you the differences between both of these. So, if you're interested, it means that, yeah, you really would like to do it. There is a true interest, but you're coming up with excuses. You're going into the stories of why you can't do it. You go back into the habits of what it is. You're basically give up when it's really hard. You're like interested, but when it gets hard, I'm out. What committed looks like is that you're going to stick to it no matter what, whatever it takes, no excuses. And you have to, part of this is just willing to be uncomfortable and willing to do things differently, because if you were getting the results you wanted in your life, you would already have them. But in order to get different results, you must be willing to do something differently. And knowing, and I'm here to tell you right now that a lot of us, we beat ourselves up because we think that, like, oh, well, I didn't change yet, or I don't have the results I want. There must be something wrong with me. But there is nothing wrong with you. It's just your brain doing its job. It's in the habit of doing the binge eating. And in order to break that habit, you have to be intentional. You have to do something differently. And that's what I help people do, is I help them rewire their brains. Now, that process is a whole other Facebook Live, which I will do that at another one. But this is about being able to follow through with your commitment, which basically means that you are doing with what you said you're going to do. It comes down to building trust with yourself. One of the number one things I hear when I start working with people is that, yeah, I can't stop binge eating because I haven't been able to do it in the past, or they like look at the lack of evidence in their life and they create this story that they can't do it. But until you do it, you can't do it. And so you have to know that this is just your old habit. You just have to break your habit. It's not a lack of character. It's not because you can't do it, it's because your brain is in the habit of doing it. And how you outsmart that is that you, instead of using your subconscious mind and your primitive mind, you rely on your prefrontal cortex, which is where your decision is. And I have my clients do commitment journals or protocols. So what they're doing is they're planning ahead of time, and they're deciding before they get triggered by food or before they go back into their old habits. They're deciding ahead of time what they're going to do, not only what they're going to eat, but exactly what they're going to think and the obstacles that are coming, so that when the obstacle comes up, they don't go automatically into that, back to that old habit, which our brain is designed to do, but rather they have an intentional plan. And this is the process of creating trust. A lot of people get into binge eating and get into trouble when they go on diets. And the reason why people go on diets is because they don't trust themselves around food. If you had trust with food, you wouldn't be worried about what you're eating. You just would know that you would eat the right thing at the right time and your weight wouldn't be an issue. But because you don't trust yourself fully with eating the right things, you have to build the skill set of learning how to build trust, like learning to follow through with what you said. And that's how I teach my clients with the protocols. I teach them how to pre-plan and outsmart their habit brain so that they're able to follow through and stick to their commitment. Now, deciding that you're committed is easy. Everybody right now who is watching this, you can decide, you know what? I am truly committed to what I am to what I want to achieve. But the hard part is the following through part. The hard part is to stop beating yourself up for not having the results, for thinking that there's something wrong with you. You need to realize it's just your brain doing its job, and you need to learn how the skill set of following through with what you said you would and how to build trust. So if you are interested in learning more about the specific tool that I teach in the process, I'd love to invite you to schedule one of my 30-minute consult calls. This is a concept that I can easily teach you in a short period of time. Also, a lot of people, the reason why they don't have their results is because they, like I said, they go back into this habit. One of the reasons that people hire coaches is so I can help you get that result. So I'd love to offer anybody who's watching this and who's interested in seriously committing, and this is their year. This is what I specialize in. I help people, I coach them through so that they can develop the skill. There is nothing wrong with you. You're just one skill set away from being the person that follows through with what they said they can do and having that trust with food. Think about it. This is about having freedom with food. If you always trusted yourself, there'd be no problem with, you wouldn't even need a plan. You wouldn't need a diet. And that's what I want to get people out of, that diet mentality where they are relying on something outside of them, or rather you learn the skill set of trusting yourself. And then you can apply it to all areas of your life. And I'm going to leave you with one question, okay? And the question is, what would your life look like if you always followed through with what you said you would do? Okay? And that's the difference between getting the results you want and not, is having that trust and having the skill set to follow through. So thank you for joining. If you're watching the replay, if you have questions, comments, any other topics you want me to talk about, go into deeper in any of this, please leave it below. I love to engage, and I look forward to seeing you soon.